Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling After Show. I'm Heath Haynes.
I'm Jonny Fairplay.
And we're here to just share our opinions on the world of professional wrestling this week in September, last week of September 2024. I'd like to remind everybody right off the bat to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this video, turn on your notifications so you can get notified. And I think that's the greatest wrestling theme song of all time. Maybe
Could be.
It's climbing the charts.
It's no Joe Hendry, but it's a close second.
I love it. The Wrestling After Show theme song, which I think is available on my YouTube channel just as its own thing. So if you want to check that out, download it and just listen to your heart's content. I know that I do.
Sure.
We're going to talk about just a couple things today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw the thumbnail, of course, you know, the hot topic that set the wrestling world ablaze as of last Friday was the rather cinematic segment between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. We're going to break that down. And we're also going to be discussing from this week on Raw our new Intercontinental Champion, main event Jey Uso.
Did not have money on that one.
Didn't see it coming. Was it the right call? We're going to let you know our thoughts on it. But before we jump into that, just real quick, Johnny, you just came off of vacation. How was it, brother?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I need a break every now and then. I don't take too many vacations.
Is it the kind of vacation that you need a vacation from now?
Oh, there's a nap in my future. I'm not really a nap guy, but I think I'm working in one today.
Fantastic. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll jump into this one right here. This is it was the opening segment on SmackDown this week, I believe.
Towards the beginning.
Yeah. That was after the Bloodline arrives to the arena, and then they start busting heads. Right. I think there was some of that. But we had this segment where you got Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes alone, apart from like 7 limo drivers, I take it, and a camera crew,
and who knows how many drones, production, and
yeah.
But other than that, just the two of them,
and notably Paul Heyman calling the shots from behind the camera. We'll get into that. So they meet in the Georgia Tech Stadium there, and I found this very interesting. I don't know if you saw. So I saw it. I watched a YouTube clip on this, and then when I was watching Raw this Friday, they re-aired it, but they cut a bunch out of it, and yeah. I'll talk about what they cut out of it. But the clip that I saw, which I think is the standard one, starts off with Roman Reigns talking about how, you know, he spent many years in the city of Atlanta playing football on that field, all the thousands of fans chanting his, maybe not chanting his name.
But not chanting his name. B, were they even good? Were there even thousands of people there?
I have no idea.
I think that was some of the weaker years of the Georgia Tech and the ACC. Not positive. I mean, the revisionist history in that family is so amazing. Like,
sure.
like The Rock. The Rock was the superstar of the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
He was not.
Well, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. You know, that's the number one rule that I learned from you. So Roman Reigns, you know, speaking, and eventually he comes to the point where he's like, you know, this is my city.
Yeah.
And then I know that you and I both love this next section where Cody Rhodes is like, well, right behind you, a couple blocks over there is Techwood Drive. And that's like, woo! You know, us Crockett fans get excited because Techwood Drive, of course, was the site of the WTBS studios, which, of course, Georgia Championship Wrestling. Well, no. Georgia Championship Wrestling, I think, came from another station, but specifically the World Championship Wrestling, 605 Saturday night.
Center Stage.
Yeah. Well, that came from Center Stage later, but Techwood Drive is
just the spot.
Is the address for the TBS studios. And so he mentions that, and then he mentions the Omni right down the street. Yeah. And he's like, so yeah, you can say this is your city. This is my home.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on the Raw version of this, they cut all that out.
Yeah.
None of that, and that was like
my favorite part.
I was sitting, I was sitting there with my dad, and I was like, "Ooh, you got to watch this, Dad." And I hadn't seen the whole motorcade section of it because that was not in the original clip that I saw. So it's like, okay, here comes the motorcade and all that. Okay, that's cool. And then I'm waiting for the Atlanta stuff, and it wasn't there. So I don't know why they cut that out, but
I get it's for the super fan,
the Tech Wood and the Omni references,
as Tony Khan would say, the sickos.
Yeah.
But I pop for that more than anything else, and like,
well, that was for us.
I mean, okay, there was 45 seconds of Raw I could have subtracted to keep that in there.
Right. Why cut that section out? Yeah. Well, that goes into something that's going to play into like sort of my opinion of the whole thing. Levels, always about the levels, the layers, if you will. So they eventually come to, okay, so why are we here? And the gist of it is, Cody wants reassurances from Roman Reigns that he's going to have his back in this upcoming tag team match. That
he wants Roman to have his back if he has Roman's back.
At Bad Blood in Atlanta. So there's reassurances that need to happen. And then again, you have
this couldn't have been done via text.
Well, no, I mean,
just imagine
how good is that going to be on television?
Just imagine Friday night, just the tech, like Cody text, and then you see the dot bubbles, and you're waiting for, and then like he starts a text. And then he erases it, and then there's nothing, and then he starts again,
and the little lines,
and then he erases again, and then he writes back, "Cool."
Yeah. You are in the letters. You are in my way. So anyway,
this is way better. This is better than
Cody wants reassurances that Roman's going to be that he's going to have his back. And again, we see, Roman. Roman makes some good points. He's like, "You're going into this battle with everything to lose, and I have nothing to lose," which is very interesting from a character standpoint for Roman. Because for me, I feel like Roman needs to go on a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
One highlight of his promo from the week before that we mentioned was it's like he's still the same guy, and and that's like when the best babyface turns happen is like for heel to babyface, it's like the character, the guy doesn't change, just the target of his hatred and his violence is changed.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There you go.
It wasn't like Stone Cold stopped stunning women and
right. But with Roman Reigns, I feel like because he has been taken down a peg, he sort of needs to go through like a little bit of that hero's journey.
Sure.
Where, it's like, hey, maybe I'm not king shit around here. Maybe I have done maybe I have done some wrong things. And this is some stuff some work that can happen if they go the rebuilding the bloodline route. It's like, hey, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, maybe I was a dick to you guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, and
I think Jay would be like,
well, we're going to, it all ties together.
But Jimmy's just like, oh yeah.
So I think Roman has for his, because the fans are on his side for sure. But in order to really get that sympathy, I think he's going to have to like almost take himself down a peg or two so that rise back to the top is more meaningful.
Well, we saw the 3-year dominance with assistance and the assistance of 2, 3, and 4 people, maybe even 5 at sometimes. So I think maybe 4. Anyway. He needs to do it, A, with or without Cody, and B, by himself.
Yeah.
Even if Cody's there sometimes, we need that, as you said, that hero's journey of Roman, taking an ass whooping or two.
Yeah, which he has, for sure. Yeah. So in a couple of respects, that hero's journey, what I would like to see is, the physical beatdowns, which we've seen him triple power bomb through the announce table, but yeah, that the acknowledgement, I said that on purpose.
Sure.
The acknowledgement of like, hey, maybe I wasn't the best head of the table and tribal chief I could have been,
and maybe I took some shortcuts. So I want this hero's journey to be, mostly kind of sort of shortcut free, but at the same time, I don't want Super Cena either.
Right.
Like
right.
like John Cena versus the Nexus by himself, beating eight guys.
Yeah.
That is not a journey that I'm signing up for. If that's the ticket, it's just like, keep your ticket.
Yeah. Roman Reigns is gonna at some point come up against the roadblock of Jacob Fatu, which we will see in this match. So invariably, the two sides agree that yes, we will have each other's back, and then you have a little moment where, and there was my one note on this whole thing is like
note or qualm.
No, well, let's just say it's a note. My one note on this whole thing would be like, can we get like 30% less nostril flaring? Because there was that was like there's so much nostril flaring in this whole segment.
He's got the nostril flaring down.
Oh, both of them, yeah.
Well, more. I think Cody's good at the nostril flare. I think Roman is the head of the nostril flare table. So I don't know if you need Red Hot Chili Pepper necklace to prove it, but whatever award you need for the mastery of the nostril flare, he's got it. But let's go back in time 4 years. He doesn't have the nostril flare.
Yeah.
And he ain't that good.
At a promo, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Reigns.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure.
The Rock, he's really taken some notes from The Rock.
Well, he benefits from production. And when I say production, I mean like specifically like being produced.
Yes. And so does Cody.
Which word is this segment was extensively produced hands-on by one Mr. Paul Heyman, who was.
I didn't know he came back.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is back, and that's another piece of that bloodline reformation, the OG bloodline reformation that I don't know if we got to last week. Specifically, we were talking about all the pieces that need to come back onto the chessboard in order for this thing to happen. And we mentioned Jay and Jimmy, possibly Sammy.
Or just neither, and it's just Randy Orton and KO.
Possibly new bloodline member, and then also Heyman's got to come back into the fold, and then I'm
so ready. That's going to be the promo of all.
Yeah,
promos.
but what would be the most interesting to me is like, and we've discussed this too. Who wants babyface Paul Heyman?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Until we get to Paul Heyman manages Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar, and whoever the third of that deal is.
Okay, that'd be a hell of a faction. A new dangerous alliance.
Dangerous. If they don't call it the Dangerous Alliance, they're doing it wrong.
They will have to call it that. So there we are with that segment. Overall, my thoughts are, it looked tremendous. It sounded tremendous. Well performed by both Cody and Roman.
Just grandiose.
Yeah. There was a lot of scope, a lot of size, and this is what I wanted to talk about levels and layers. So the challenge of professional wrestling and creating professional wrestling content, I think, in this era is
posing at the end of your segment.
Well, it's pretty daunting because the pro wrestling fandom demographic is very wide ranging. So like you got people like us who
appreciate the Omni line,
know the history, follow the stuff on almost a granular detail. You have the mythical, possibly mythical casual fans, you got little kids, you have varying degrees of intelligence.
Sure.
You have
go to a live show.
You have varying degrees of wealth, like class situation. You have various racial makeups of this entire wrestling fandom. It's not a monolith. It's there's a lot of different niches, a lot of different types of wrestling fans, and the challenge of creating compelling wrestling content is like trying to not necessarily hit all those demos,
but throw a broad stroke on the brush against that canvas.
Cast a wide net and because there's going to be things that you and I liked about that segment that are not even going to occur to other people. Yeah. And then also, and vice versa. Some people are going to, just completely just be on the level of just like, oh, this is going to be a great fight. And then you and I are goofing, about the Omni stuff,
Yeah, but like the Omni stuff, I don't think chases away that casual viewer.
No, not at all. It's not
whereas
gatekeeping or
it's like we're like super pop over here.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh man, that's the one.
Well, maybe at some point between Friday and Monday, somebody had that thought, and like maybe that is a little gatekeepy if people don't know about the Omni or Techwood Drive or whatever. So maybe let's cut that out. But that's stupid because everybody knows who Cody Rhodes' dad is. Yeah. Even if you didn't watch wrestling in the 80s, you know.
Well, I feel there is a small percentage that does not. But like my fiance, for example, she exists. She's amazing.
She does. She's in the other room.
Actually, she just left.
Oh.
My fiance watches on average, I want to say 7 hours of wrestling a year. That's it.
Okay.
So that's it. It's in the room, and she's like, "Oh, it's on," and there's 12 seconds. So, but Roman Reigns comes out with the greasy hair. She's like, "Oh, hey." So she knows the Roman Reigns. Cody is so polarizing that last year, the documentary thing came out. And she was like, "I want to see this," and she's like, "Did you know Dusty?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we were friends, and when I was in TNA, we were like, he's the guy that told him to bring me back. He's like, who's this Jonny Fairplay while they make someone's money?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the guy from Survivor. Wow. Jared hated him, so they're just paying him." He goes, "He's more famous than AJ Styles. I'll use him." And so,
that's pretty good one.
Thank you. And me and Dusty, we come say, it's like, we're just gonna do little movies. He goes, "I say something, you say something, then you say something, I'll say something. That's it. Make little movies."
Yeah.
I was like, "No script." He goes, "What do we need a script for?" And I was like, "Nothing as far, I'm in his office. I got my, my boots up on his desk, and he's like, like basically, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
I was just like, "Oh, sorry, just read this as autobiography." They're like, "Just read this stupid book. We're wearing this stupid hat."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Back in the old days, they'd put you in a barrel with a hole in it." And I was like, "Oh, that's how." He goes, "I don't think you'd like it." And I was like, "Oh." So the whole.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So you guys think about it too, or don't. Please don't.
I'm gonna try not to.
I wish I didn't. So, but so my fiance, she's just like, that guy. I'm like, yeah, and she was just like, he's kind of good, and I was just like, yeah, but if so of the 7 hours a year that my fiance watches, subtract 1 hour, she probably doesn't know who Dusty Rhodes is.
All right. So that somehow tied into what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, you're saying that everyone,
I'd say everyone,
everyone knows Techwood Drive and all that, but everyone knows who Dusty is. But there are, like, as I said, you subtract, there is a small percentage. I mean, like most people that are Lawyer Bud's a casual fan.
Yeah.
And Lawyer Bud came over Monday night. We did. I don't even know what we were doing, but anyway, came over Sunday night, and we watched football after open mic, and and he goes, "Hey, did you see that Cody Roman Reigns thing on the Georgia Tech field?" And I was like, "Yeah, did you see it?" He's like, "Oh yeah." Bud didn't watch SmackDown.
Yeah.
but somehow it entered Bud's world. Like
Yeah.
that's how big this thing is.
Well, and let's circle back around. So obviously, this was a successful segment.
Has to be.
And
like, have you heard anyone go, man, that was the shits?
Yeah. So obviously, this is a successful segment. So just my point is just like think of like all the effort that goes into making a successful segment, and I think the reason this segment was as successful as it was because of the appeal on all the different layers, covering all those bases, and yeah, just more of that.
Yeah. I don't like the I liked some of the cinematic stuff with Bray Wyatt. I know that you hated pretty much all of it, and you hate the Wyatt Six even more.
Yeah.
But I liked some of it. I thought it was kind of hit and miss, and anything involving Braun Strowman was a turd.
Yeah, I never even saw any of that stuff.
Whew.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, if you think you hated Bray Wyatt, you would have really hated his interaction with I'm stupid Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
He does not need to be cinematic.
Yeah, I generally with a segment like this, I would leave the segment with the question, well, were we supposed to see that? Well, obviously, if it's on the TV show, you're supposed to see it. But a lot of segments where they're just backstage and it's two people talking, you have the I'm always left with, do they know that there's a camera there? Are we supposed to know that are they supposed to know that there's a camera there?
Yeah.
And with this, it was just like, no, we're going to have this talk and it's going to be momentous and we're going to make sure that it's well documented. Therefore, there's going to be lighting and cameras and drones and everything.
And the gimmick is, I think, or I like to pretend, that maybe this talk doesn't go great. Maybe they get out there and Roman says his deal, Cody says his deal, and and one of them's just like, well, then fuck you. Right. And then it's just like, whoa. And it's just like, hey, you called me out here. So you want to say all your stuff. I tried to do the right thing. You say you're trying to, this ain't going to work. Like that could have, it wasn't set up to show that this is going to work. It's to show we don't know what's going to, like that's the, what you can think as a fan that is just like, this is a huge meeting. This isn't a text going, or we're in a junior high. Do you like me? Yes. Check yes or no. So it's hey, if this is going to work, we're hashing this out in our home. I think it's mine. You think it's yours. Agree to disagree.
It's common ground.
It's common ground.
It's common ground.
It's common ground. So
that's why they're there.
So I loved it. And we were talking off air. There's so many people that spend a lot of money. I mean, ticket prices are not cheap these days. There's a lot of people that spend a lot of money hoping to see Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. You did get Cody Rhodes later. He was in the building. So, but there's a lot of people that did not get Roman Reigns that I can't imagine were overly upset because they saw that spectacle. Yeah. And that's what that was. It was a spectacle.
Yeah. It was a tremendous, great segment. More of that, I think we will both agree.
Yeah. But not to ad nauseum.
Well, yeah.
Pick these special moments.
That's the thing. Because it will. If everything's a cinematic moment, then nothing is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need a Chad Gable going out to GW High School football field.
You say that. Think back to WrestleMania 40, and think back to that Chad Gable, Sami Zayn training montage,
Rocky speech.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that was back when we had hope. Well, I had hope for Chad Gable that he'd be, fucking doing something one day rather than jobbing for the Monster Squad.
I think we're done with the Monster Squad. I think we had the official write-off of that.
Stage freeze.
No, I'm gonna do this time. No, but you did this last time.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway. Yeah. Oh my God. No, I felt like the Creed brothers went up a tick this week, and if they go up a tick, he goes up a tick. by association.
Yeah. Okay.
So all is not lost. I did not like the last 3 months of Chad Gable.
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
But I mean, this dude made it through Shorty G.
Yeah, so sidebar. I was really like the redemption of Chad Gable and training Sami Zayn, and then their series of matches, and then we start to see the Chad Gable turn and the friction with him and his, albeit goofy, but his stable
Goof Troop.
And I was really looking forward to, and I think a lot of people were looking forward to that Otis and Chad moment, maybe both of them getting a little serious, out of this whole thing, and just to have all that sidelined into the fucking Monster Squad bullshit is like that big fail for me from a story that I was involved in, a nice little mid-card story, but yeah, a story that I was really involved in Raw, and alas, Monster Squad. I don't know.
All right, so Bray Wyatt had the realm in which he went, and and it went as far as it did. Is the Wyatt Six on the verge of going the other side? Are they the Groovy Ghoulies at this?
I wish.
You wish?
I wish they had fucking instruments and they would just fucking play a song every once in a while, man. That would, yeah.
Better than posing.
I'd be way more into that. If they were a fucking band that also like fucking hung around like a spooky castle, I would love that. That'd be great. Like if you're gonna go fucking cartoon with it, go.
Groovy Ghoulies. You want some Frankenstein boots?
That's the best fucking idea you've ever had, Fairplay. Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
If that would be the thing that I would like about it. So
all right. So finishing up on Cody and Roman.
Oh, I think we're done, and now we're gonna move on to our other.
We'll save it for the predictions.
Okay, we'll save it for the predictions.
We're doing predictions next week.
We'll do predictions next week. Yes.
Okay.
Along with, are we doing we should probably do a Hell in the Cell sort of classic match or some sort of steel cage business.
Oh, we should do Mankind versus The Undertaker. You're never going to believe what happens.
We'll put it in the thumbnail. So continuing with...
Should we do the Rikishi?
Continuing with the Bloodline saga over on Raw, we have the ascendance of main event Jey Uso in the main event.
Sure.
And wrestling for the Intercontinental title, which, spoiler alert, he won. Did not see it coming.
I don't think anyone did.
Yeah.
Should we have seen it coming?
Was it the right call? I say yes, because first off, the match was the match. The match was it was.
It was. I think as far as Jey Uso matches go, it was on the high side.
It was. I think a lot of it was due to. Granted, I watched the not even the highlights, just like basically the last 10 minutes of it or whatever it was. But yeah, it was fine. Braun Breaker always looks great.
Oh yeah.
I think
he's figuring shit out real quick.
Yeah, he is.
Bro.
I think it was the right call. And this is why. I think a defeat for Jey would have hurt him more than a defeat for than the defeat for Braun did. With all the push, all the fan momentum behind Jey Uso, for him not to come away with it. And this is always my perspective on baby faces in the chase. They do need to win the title, but they don't necessarily need to hold on to it for a long time. Now he doesn't need to lose it next week, but he doesn't need to have like the Gunther fucking historical reign with it. But I think it would have hurt him to not come away with it. And I think it was great that he won clean. He won with his finisher. It was a tremendous moment in the building for that crowd. And like then you see videos of kids online,
Oh,
losing their minds and crying and stuff. And it's like, that's what it's about. Braun Breaker is going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, we're a week shy of October.
Okay, yeah.
What if he keeps it to January and here's the new bloodline to whoop his ass?
Yeah, I mean,
they don't need. They just whoop his ass enough for somebody else to take the championship, not them.
I think this is going to play into the larger bloodline saga, and I'll get to my thoughts on that for a second. But what do you think? I mean, it was the right call, right?
Yeah,
just him winning.
I like Jey Uso. I'm a Jey Uso fan. The yeet is what it is. I'm just not a yeet kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like 7 out of 10 of his promos is the exact same promo.
Yeah,
I do not like
that. A lot of catchphrases.
It just little on substance.
Yeah,
I like a little more grit.
Yeah,
to my meal.
Same could be said kind of for his in-ring too.
Sure.
This like the promo. This is the promo. These are the things that happen. Yeah. This is the match. These are the things.
Here's my Young Bucks. Here's my Young Bucks match.
Yeah, these are the things.
So, but at the same time, he does have that it factor. There is a likability to him, and there is something that makes him special, and there is a reason why the fans love him so much. Do I love him that much? No. Do I respect that he's done that? Yes. Good for him. He deserves the gold watch. He deserves all things. You're talking 14 years in the business, never won a singles title. It's just like, well, yeah, but he was in a tag team for fucking 12 of the 14.
Yeah.
So let's relax on the hyperbole of, he can't win the big one. I'm just like, these 8 chances over 14 years literally took place over 9 months.
So you agree? Good call.
Yeah, I feel that Braun is pretty bulletproof right now.
It didn't hurt him at all.
Literally, he can come out next week and just beat the shit out. It doesn't even have to be Jey Uso. It can be anybody. And it's just like, whoa. And, as the moving parts, the layers that we're talking about, I don't feel that Heyman is going to be a babyface for 2 years before he fucking turns. So maybe this is step 1 of turning Braun Breaker into this fucking, wayward person that we happen to see him walking into an office together or something like that. And then, fast forward to, whether it's SmackDown on USA in January or February or Raw on Netflix. I'm telling you, Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar, and whoever the third. Who's the third?
CM Punk.
Oh, duh.
I don't know why you weren't thinking that either.
I don't either.
The Heyman guys.
Yeah, the Heyman guys.
Yeah.
The Dangerous Alliance. That's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Rick Rude. Medusa.
Bobby Eaton. Larry Zbyszko. Art Anderson.
Sweet. A lot of those guys are available.
Yeah.
Minus Rick Rude.
Yeah, and Bobby Eaton.
That sucks. You don't think? Because you just don't see Bobby weekly, but I guess there's a reason.
Yep. He passed away.
That sucks. Yeah. He's a sweet. Did you ever meet beautiful Bobby?
I met Bobby once, and it's funny. So I generally tend to have whatever the opposite of somebody's reputation. When I interact with said person who has some reputation, I generally get the polar opposite of whatever.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's my effect on people. So I met Bobby Eaton at the Legends Fest in Charlotte in 2016, and it was not the first time I've been around pro wrestlers, because I did have a little stint in the business, cup of coffee, if you will.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I had been around, like
the cream rises to the top.
Yeah. It's the first time I've been around some of the guys that literally from my childhood, other than the one time I got to work with Jimmy Valiant and Wahoo McDaniel. Aside from that, so I go to this Legends Fest. The first thing I do is go over to Jim Cornette's table and I buy the almost mythical Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express scrapbook. Now, you cannot get that thing.
Yeah. Why doesn't he just do another pressing?
I don't know, man, but like,
do you think he likes that people can't have it?
Every once in a while, they'll find a box of them in a closet somewhere
beside the Gary Hart book.
And what is? Sorry, just noticed a mess on the floor. Is that me? Did I do that?
I think it's your shoes.
Is it my shoes?
Yeah.
It is my shoes.
I think you're due for a new pair.
I think I am. So I get the Midnight Express scrapbook, and then there's Stan Lane, Bobby Eaton, right there.
Yeah.
So I go over to them to get it signed.
Stan Lane's still looking good.
Stan Lane is he is the genetic jackhammer.
Yeah.
So I go over, get them to, they sign it, and I say whatever I say.
Go fuck yourself, douchebag.
Yeah, no.
Because that may have been why you got the non-polite.
I say whatever it is I said.
Something probably nice.
Yeah.
You can't imagine it not being nice.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I say whatever it is I said, and then I'm like, a Southern guy. My dad always taught me to shake hands.
Sure.
So I like shake hands with Stan, shake hands with Bobby, and then move on down the line. Bobby Eaton, whose reputation precedes him as being the nicest guy in fucking professional wrestling, will bend over backwards for anybody. Strangers in the street, he'll buy him a bag of groceries.
Yeah.
I shake his hand, walk down, and I hear him say to Stan, "What's this shaking hand shit?"
Wow.
And I was like, oh, wow, I guess I just like breached the protocol for these fucking wrestling meet and greets. And I never tried to shake anybody else's fucking hand the rest of the weekend, man.
Well, see, I think I kind of get what happened there.
Okay.
So
coming from the perspective of somebody who has participated on the other side of the table and meet and greets.
Yeah, well, see, I'm a fist bump guy. I don't shake hands.
This is 2016. I don't think the fist bump was a thing yet.
No, that was a thing. That was a thing. So yeah, I'm kind of germy. I don't.
Sure.
So I'm a fist bump guy there. But you're talking about the NWA Legends Fest. This is a bunch of old school dudes.
Yes.
And Bobby Eaton was as old school as it gets.
Yeah.
So Stanley not as much. I mean, just time wise, but Stan don't give a fuck.
The
about
business,
Stan was just like pro wrestling was a speed bump on his way to calling
speedboat racing.
Speedboat racing, exactly. So no, Bobby is he's all about the
I know that
the gimmick handshake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Gangrel will give you the softest hand. I mean, he literally comes in like Mega Powers, but just does this little touch.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And I'd imagine Bobby's one. So you probably just shook his hand just normally, and he's like, all right,
what is this shaking hands shit?
He's not a worker because he didn't give me the fucking gimmick handshake.
Yeah.
And so what other purpose is there for a handshake other than to do the gimmick handshake?
Yeah. So
I think he's just that old school.
So anyway, that's my Bobby Eaton story.
That's good. I don't think it was a direct. I literally think he doesn't understand the purpose of a handshake other than the gimmick.
So this is where I wanted to go with the with the Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental title, playing into the bigger story.
Yes.
Again, going back to the Roman Reigns hero journey, trademark wrestling after show. So let's say this does happen, and there does come to it comes to a point where Roman Reigns is addressing Jimmy and Jey Uso, and it's like, hey guys, maybe I wasn't the best tribal chief. Maybe I was a jerk to you guys, and I just want to apologize. At this point, Jey Uso could be like, cool, I appreciate that, but I'm over here on Raw. I'm the Intercontinental Champion. I'm good.
Yeah. You whatever you need to work out.
Yeah.
That's
have at it, Holmes. Yeah. I'm good. So
no one's effing with me over here on Raw. You're on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Keep that shit
swimming with the sharks, surrounded, and this is all maybe this is like chickens coming home to roost for you, Roman. Maybe if you weren't such a dick to me and Jimmy,
I wouldn't have left.
And Solo, maybe Solo wouldn't have turned on you as soon as you got beat the one time. And so I think him winning that IC title, not only was it good business, it just in the context of just main event Jey Uso as his own entity, but in the larger storyline, I think it gives his position in a possible reformation of the original bloodline. I think it gives him the ability to be like, hey, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and the bloodline, as I said, Netflix on Raw and Netflix come January. You have the Intercontinental Champion Jey Uso, and here comes the bloodline whooping, and he was just like, "Why'd you have to bring your problems here?" And and I was just I don't tell them where to fight. And
now what do you say? Are you saying that Roman Reigns is gonna jump over to Raw Netflix?
Absolutely. There's been it's basically demanded by Netflix and guaranteed by Raw on Netflix will be the Roman Reigns show.
I had not heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's going to be their number one show.
Yeah.
So you have the number one guy on there.
Okay. Why is Cody Rhodes still on SmackDown? See,
maybe he goes to.
I think Cody Rhodes is the number one guy. That's just me.
I think it's just you. You know what? Let's go to a fucking football field and talk about it for 45 minutes with some drones flying around.
It's not just me. Me and you at the GW Eagles football stadium.
Let's go discuss who the number one guy is.
Is Enterprise Rent a Car still open? Let's go rent like 5 SUVs.
Oh, that's the only way to do it.
I could see it. And again, I can see it playing into the larger bloodline angle, which we were talking about this last week. Do they have time to get to an all bloodline War Games? I think they do. I think they do actually have time because there's a lot of time between Bad Blood and Survivor Series. Almost 2 months, 8 weeks of TV time. I think they can get there. But they got to start like the Raw after Bad Blood.
I don't like they haven't rushed anything. I mean, we literally had a 3-year title reign. We had 2 years to finish the story. I mean, they have taken their time with all of this, and it hasn't been ad nauseum. It's been all right. There was never a week in which I was just like, oh, nothing's ever happening. I'm done. I'm not watching anymore. Some weeks were a little faster than others.
Right.
Some is just like, okay. I would have liked a little bit more, but most of the time you were satiated. I honestly think they can, and I'm let down by this, but I feel 90% of the people probably wouldn't be. You do the War Games with Cody, Roman, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, and we just burned a War Games, and we have an entire year to get to, which we thought would already be happening now. We have an entire year to tell that story of War Games next year with Bloodline versus Bloodline.
Okay, you just reminded me of something. My conversation with my buddy Greg this weekend. Everybody's and even more of a tease of the Kevin Owens turn this week on SmackDown. So the Kevin Owens turn is, in the atmosphere. It's in the air.
It's a dangling participle.
The Randy Orton heel turn has not been really referenced at all on TV, but has been anticipated in fandom. So let's say we have that's your War Games, the one you just laid out, the new Bloodline versus the new Mega Powers and RKO.
Yeah.
Let's say they're victorious. Bloodline leaves the ring. The victors remain standing. What if we get double turn right there? KO and Randy turn on both Roman and Cody. That would be fucking wild, and I would be stoked.
I'm good with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
If they do that
in the cage.
Yeah, in the cage and just fuck them up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we it's Freebirds or
Von Erichs.
Von
Yeah.
Erich's what's it, Ric Flair, Carey, and then
Yeah.
in the cage.
And then and also that Arn Anderson turn that I referenced the other week, where it's just like
or Ole Anderson.
The Ole Anderson turn. It would be fine if the bloodline isn't involved, but what if the bloodline was involved and KO and Randy Orton and so all 6 of those guys
Just
beat the shit out of fucking
Cody
and Roman? That would rule.
I'm for, and I think it also
and I love Cody Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I mean, it would rule as a wrestling fan. Like, that's what I want to see.
Well, here's the issue. Kevin Owens turns. You're reminded, oh yeah, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he's a great heel. Let me boo him. I'll play my part. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Whereas Randy Orton is just like, oh, that's just what Randy does, and he still gets 50% cheers, maybe even 60, 70% cheers as a heel,
and he's super over right now.
That shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
With Randy and KO and the bloodline being the shit out of not only Cody, because Cody can get in that murky water sometimes.
Okay.
But Cody and Roman, Randy Orton's a fucking heel that people are booing.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah, because I don't need 60% like I don't need a heel turn by Randy Orton. 60% of the people cheering.
Yeah.
And then Cody loses 30% of his fandom.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's horrible for everybody involved.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, I mean, like on paper, it's just like no one's doing their job correctly. So whereas this, you have Randy and KO with the bloodline. Everyone's like, screw you, Randy Orton. I know that's what you do sometimes, but you don't do it with those pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You just do it on your own.
Yeah. Wild speculation, fastly becoming one of the hallmarks of Wrestling After Show, ladies and gentlemen, and that was some wild speculation right there. But I would love to see it. I really would.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see that.
As I said, you're a Cody Rhodes fan. Like your favorite 2 wrestlers,
Cody Rhodes, CM Punk,
bar none.
Yeah,
and but you would love to see your guy get the shit beat up because there's a story.
Oh yeah,
it's just like, whew. So, and you don't want to watch your guy like go against a guy that did a half-ass turn and half-ass the crowd. Like literally, if it's just Randy doing a turn on a SmackDown and 2 months, literally people are gonna go, oh, this should be fun. Yeah. I don't want this to be fun.
Yeah, if you go back, remember when Edge comes back, Rumble 2020.
Yeah.
And
greatest match of all time.
And Edge and Randy turned on Edge the next night on Raw. That was, I mean, and Randy's had a bunch of heel turns. I haven't seen all of them, so I can't, describe in length, where that ranks, but like that was a good heel turn. Yeah. Like because you have the returning Edge, who nobody thought they would ever see again. Yeah. So he, the miracle of life that he is back on our TV screens, and Randy's going to turn on him. That gets the kind of heat like that you're describing right there. That's not the like, oh well, like I still like Randy. It's like, no, fuck you, fuck Randy. Yeah. So something like that, I think would be pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah. Well, those are our big topics.
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
I think next week we're going to be talking the Bad Blood preview.
Yep.
And the Mr. McMahon docuseries.
I got to get Netflix, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me know when you're ready. You can just come over. I don't care. Either way. I literally just got a Netflix bill today for $22.99. I was just like, how does that happen?
Is that how much Netflix is now?
Yeah.
I remember when it was like $12.
I remember when it was a fucking DVD.
Yeah, I remember that too. All right.
That'll never catch on.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess that we're going to call it a thing. Gonna call it a thing here. for this week's Wrestling After Show. Johnny, you got anything you need to tell the people about?
I'm in like 7th place of every single Survivor on Cameo. So go to cameo.com/Jonny Fairplay, no H in Johnny. And get yourself a Cameo. I guess the Survivor deal, if you get a Cameo, you get another one half price. And then I'm also doing a thing on Friday in which 5 lucky fans are chosen to get a $20 Cameo. So that's out there on Friday. So yeah, cameo.com/Jonny Fairplay. I'm beating Parvati. I'm beating Sandra. I'm beating some heavy hitters. So that's kind of cool. And then we have so much content at youtube.com/aftershow. If you like any of the stuff, including the Wrestling After Show podcast, go to realitypatron.com. That's realitypatron.com. It's all commercial and ad free.
Love it.
So I know the commercials can be annoying to some people. Hey, I don't make that.
Yeah.
The YouTube does the commercials, or Spreaker and Spot. I don't do the commercials. So if you want those both audio and video ad free, head over to realitypatron.com. They're sitting there just staring at you. In addition to the Castaway watch along episodes, rewatches of Australian Survivor, links to episodes of Australian Survivor, the weekly Q&A. There is so much monthly autograph picks from some of your favorite survivors and challenge people and Big Brother people. So yeah, realitypatron.com. Give that a shot.
Love it. And as always, right here on the Reality After Show YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're listening to us on any of the various podcast platforms that we're on, leave a little review. I know Apple Podcasts, that goes a long way.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, makes a big difference So if that's going to do it for you, Fairplay, I think that's going to do it.
We have a hurricane coming, or are you DJing tomorrow?
I'm not doing it tomorrow.
Okay. We got a hurricane.
I'm not doing it tomorrow. There's a hurricane coming through, and we're not talking about Brother Helms down in North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, again, from the After Show studios here in Providence, North Carolina, the heart of the Mid-Atlantic Territory. This is Jonny Fairplay. I'm Heath Haynes. This has been Wrestling After Show. We'll see you next week.